for this conference, in my view, fortune for the times that we find ourselves in. It says cause-related marketing, a panacea for national behavioral change. Is that correct? Very well. Now, my understanding of cause-related marketing is that it is a joint action, commercial and non-commercial entity to promote a cause or behavior change that is of mutual benefit. In other words, the commercial entity, or rather the non-profit cause, gains funding and the opportunity to cause. Commercial entity gains visibility, positive association, and social legitimacy. So in other words, it's a relationship that is mutually beneficial to both the commercial entity and the non-commercial entity, and in my view, more importantly, the citizens of the country as a whole. Because I do not want to use other people's platforms to market people, what I would say, the example I would give is, we remember in those days when the late Alhaji Aliu Mahama was Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. He was running a campaign that he called the Campaign for Greater Discipline. And you remember there was this mad fellow who was whipping somebody and say, "Ahana Ojonso," you know, somebody who was on the streets. You know, such campaigns, you know, organizations such as yours, you know, can associate with national causes like that. And even though you may think that, okay, what is the direct benefit of this campaign to my brand? What it does is that it tells the Ghanaian people that, one, you are a caring brand. One, two, that you are truly nationalistic, you care deeply about this country. And then also, three, that, you know, even though that is quite subtle, that if people were to invest in your company, you would then give back to our society. And I believe that, I'm not a marketing fellow, but I believe that if you were to associate positively with national causes, you would be able to get a lot of mileage. I have a very, shall I say, an orthodox understanding of how these sponsorships should work, of where companies should put their money. When I was SRC president at the University of Cape Coast, before I became SRC president, over the years, it has been the norm that every time we are organizing SRC week celebrations, we do Miss UCC. And then we come and run around Accra. We get companies to donate fridges, television sets, etc. And then we go and award them to these girls. When I was SRC president, I said to my people that, quite frankly, I'm not willing to come and walk around the sun in Accra and sweat my boot off, you know, to find money and sponsorships to come and give to, in my words at that time, to nude girls. Rather, I said to them, let's go and look for the sponsorships and come and give to the student with the best GPA level 100, best GPA level 200, best science student level 100, best this student. I thought was to study. It will project a positive image of the SRC than if we put it in a beauty contest. I know that my point is controversial, or at that time was controversial. The SRC was divided. But at the end of the day, as the leader, I stood my grounds, and that's what we did. The point that I'm trying to make is that if you also, as marketers, want to associate with causes, in my view, you should also look for causes not only because of the profit that the cause will bring you, but also whether in the end it will contribute to strengthening the moral fiber of our society. It will contribute to inculcating in our young people a certain sense of decency, a certain sense of excellence, a certain sense of aspiration. That at the end of the day, because all of us today lament the moral decadence in our society and how young people are going wayward and falling out and so on. So if, as marketers, you are not putting your courses, your money in courses that are directly related, to alleviating, to raising the conditions of our young people and training them to be more nationalistic, more positive, more forward-looking, and therefore contributing to proper behavioral change, I will think that you will not be doing yourselves and your brands a lot of good. In the next few weeks, the Ministry of Information is going to roll out what we call a values campaign. And by values campaign, we mean that there are certain values that we believe that we ought to promote in our society for national development. For example, the values of keeping time. That people should be punctual to places. That when we say that a program is supposed to start at 5:30, that we really mean 5:30. I don't know whether any of you remembers the advertisement where there was supposed to be a meeting starting at 3 p.m. They call it Original Ghana Moments. I think it was run by Club Beer. And then somebody opens the conference room at 3 p.m. exactly. And there's nobody except the secretary. And he says, Madam Secretary, I thought they said we'll start the meeting at 3 p.m. And says, but you too. When we say 3, no, then you come at 3. I mean, really. And and this is supposed to be Original Ghana Moment, which means that in Ghana, when they say 3, they don't mean 3. They mean 4 p.m. or perhaps 5 p.m. So I think that there are a lot of things that we need to do to educate our people. There's the issue that our government is fighting currently, the issue of galamsey, for example. That's a huge matter. Should we, because of the profits and the monies that individuals will make for their pocket, sacrifice the future of a whole nation? Should that be the case? We're talking about perennial flooding, the littering of our environment. Now, I understand that Ghana is the second dirtiest city in Africa or West Africa. I'm not sure. But whatever it is, I'm not sure any of us is proud about our environment. Fortunately, the president has tasked the sanitation minister to make Ghana Accra the cleanest city in Africa by 2020. I wish the sanitation minister good luck. But that's a very tall order for him. And it will be a tall order only if we refuse to change our behavior. Because really, a sanitation minister is just one person. And he's not able to be everywhere at every time. So even if he puts the sanitation companies on the streets and they clean the gutters, and the next day we put the rubbish back, we would always be at a starting point. And I'm sure that people like you, marketers like you, can also put your money in courses that can help raise awarenesses like this one, that will help to transform the behavior of our people and then help the overall development of our country. People would ask, should private people like you, because you set up your businesses to make profit, quite frankly. And so somebody will ask, what do I care? Is it the business of government to do these matters? Why should I, a private person, put my money in national causes like this? What do I stand to benefit? My appeal to you is that you stand to benefit. I have already said a lot. There is some brand now that I understand, if you buy that brand, 1 CD of whatever you have put in that brand goes to the National Cancer, is it cardio project. Straight away, quite frankly, I would encourage all my sisters and mothers and aunties and so on to buy that brand. Because as for cardio-related illnesses, all of us are at risk of cardio-related illnesses, and we don't have the money. So when you put your money behind such a cause, inevitably, you never know whether that money ends up treating your uncle or your aunt or your grandmother and so on. So it is not a cause that, in my view, should be in vain. To this end, I would end my saying, or my little speech, by saying that cause-related marketing indeed can be a panacea for national behavioral change, but only if marketers and people like you are committed to doing it, and doing it for the national cause. Believe me, it will rub off your brands and ultimately give you profit and mileage for your company. Thank you very much, and God bless you.